We are live. We are live. Welcome to college football's holy. Hold on one moment, everybody. Hold on one moment. We have an issue. Hold on. Okay, we had a bulb issue. We might have had audio issue, whatever. Just I'll have my producer cut that out. Cut that out. I have never edited a episode or a live show. Never edited anything. Everything that I have done wrong is out there live or on my episodes taped. I've never changed a lick of anything. All warts and all. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button. If you like our content, share the video with your family and your friends. If you want to help this Rebel Outpost YouTube channel with a donation, hit the $ where you make a comment, and I'll get you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Everybody, and I mean everybody, is welcoming to the studio that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to be a legend. Do not be afraid to be a legend with your comments in the chat room and with your phone calls later in the show. We are going to be talking about the football games. We're going to be going through the schedule of Week 13. We're going to be doing that to start off the monologue. We're going to be talking about the Big 12 deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, we were doing a watch party on Saturday when the news broke. So we talked about it during the football game, Georgia in Tennessee. And then yesterday we had a live show. And I was asked, what is the impact of this going to be on the Big 12 during the show? And I said, I don't know. I don't have any of the details. I don't know how many games is going to go to TNT from the Big 12. I don't know which games. I don't know anything at all. So I cannot really make an opinion known because I don't have any information. Well, now we do have some more information. And I think it's a very positive, it's going to have a very positive impact on the Big 12 when it comes to their exposure in football and even more possibly with basketball. So I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on that. Now, the last part of the monologue, Ryan Willie is in the house. As you see by the title of our show, it's titled, Luke Fickell Losing His Grip at Wisconsin. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, the fat guy from Minnesota, he's anti-Wisconsin. He doesn't like cheese on his meat. He calls every great Badger fan an evil Badger. Even part of our family here at PATC, Ryan Willie and Jeff Olson. I do that with loving spirit, of course. But I know some of you are sitting back and going, oh, the fat guy from Minnesota is taking a shot. He sees an opportunity, so now he is going to take a shot. No. Now I'm biased. I am heavily maroon and gold biased. I am Sky Yuma biased. I am Row the Boat biased. But I don't think I'm being unfair. Something happened today. I've got a different angle on So Longo that the evil Badger Ryan Willie has put out on the comment section. Something happened today, and I put my psychologist hat on. I put on my psychiatrist hat on. Now, I'm not a psychologist nor a psychiatrist, although I need both. But I just play one on the college football YouTube channel, PATC. But I saw something today, and I texted off a message to somebody, and I said, does this look like this means this? I got the message, yep. And then I texted another person, does this really mean this instead of that? And I got the response, I think so. I think you're on something, Greg, or you're on something. but I think I'm onto something. I think today, November 18th, 2024, is the first indication, a strong indication, that Luke Fickell has lost his grip in Madison. We're going to be talking about that at the end of the monologue. First of all, I want to thank everybody who's come on in. Patrick Bear is in the house. Chief Fan, Mr. Buckeye, Gerald Jones, Mr. Buckeye, Kayla Ramirez. The Buckeye family here at PATC is representing. Joaquin Morales. Hey, Greg, PATC fam. Smash that like button. How about them Devils, Greg? How about them Devils? An opportunity to play for the Big 12 championship game. You got to beat BYU, and then you're going to have to beat your rival, Arizona. It's doable, definitely doable for the Sun Devils. Holy smokes. Azon, the Kid, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk. I still need to hear I'm a Jayhawk. Now, is that the song where, like, the word Cornhusker is part of the lyrics? Let me know, Azon the Kid. I got to make sure I have the right song. I will go ahead and I will do that song. I will sing it. But let me know what the is it talking about the old Big 8 foes, like the Buffaloes and the Cornhuskers, something like that? Let me know if that's the song. David is in the house. Like button, check. Thank you so much. Humble, Bumble, Duck. Oregon is still the number one team in the country. Bearcat Steve is in the house. Juan Carlos. Whoa, Nelly. Heelan, Florida is in the house. Richard L. Richard L. Chief Fan. Neil Brown has destroyed the West Virginia football program. I don't think he's destroyed it. I think it's just, I don't even think it's circling around the drain, but it is stuck in the mud. It's stuck. Now, does Athletic Director Wren and President Gee want to try to help push Neil Brown out of the mud? Or are they just going to leave it in the mud and get a whole new vehicle, a whole new head coach to drive the West Virginia program? I don't know. Honestly, I do not know what's going to happen at West Virginia. Again, it's the canary in the coal mine. We're going to have a very short carousel ride when it comes to head coaches losing their jobs. Neil Brown is definitely the canary in the coal mine. Curtis Brown is in the house. Michael Smith is in the house. Preston from Greensboro. The Tyson watch party was fun. Greg was 3 corrupt judges away from eating a cheeseburger. Well, no cheeseburger for this kid. No cheeseburger for this. Devil Frog is in the house. Better TNT than ESPN Plus. We're going to go over that here in a little bit. Stormy Cyclone is in the house. Ryan Willie says he has info about it. I'm anxious to hear it. Stormy Cyclone, live from the Antarctica. Did Greg make his picks? No, I haven't. I went 4-4 last week. You geniuses went 4-4 last week. Okay, so that's the song. Okay, thank you, Azon Kid. I did look at it a long time ago. I'll look at it again. The Big Ten is getting 4. The Architect. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure that the Big Ten is getting 4 in the playoffs. It would have to mean a couple of things. One, the Indiana Hoosiers are going to have to play a competitive football game with the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think Indiana probably would do that. But the other thing that's going to have to happen to get 4 Big Ten teams in the playoffs, the Nittany Lions are going to have to come here Saturday afternoon in Huntington Bank Stadium, outdoors, the Golden Gophers versus the Nittany Lions. We have ripped the hearts out of the Nittany Lions in 1999. We ripped the hearts out of the Nittany Lions in 2019. We've done it before. We're going to do it again this Saturday. So no, the Big Ten is not going to get 4 teams in the playoffs. How do you like them apples? How do you like them apples? Let's go. Let's go. Jay Chapman. I watched the Arkansas-Texas game at Fat Jack's Oyster Bar and Grill on State Line Avenue, Tarkana, Saturday. What an atmosphere. Holy smokes. I bet it was. I bet it was. My goodness, Jay Chapman is in the house. Look at MBM. 20 gifted memberships. Mr. Oklahoma State Cowboy. My goodness, incredible generosity. Holy smokes. Thank you so much, MBM. Colin Murray, the producer of this show. Colin, I need you desperately. I need you desperately. Everything is going pear-shaped in the studio. Why? Because your Uncle Greg is a moron. An absolute moron. I cannot push forward on this show because I don't know what I'm doing, and nobody knows that more than Mr. Colin Murray, who's an absolute genius, who is my nephew. My nephew is now a member of this show that is going pear-shaped. Jason Spangler is in the house. Jason, Adam, Kenneth Stromness, BYU, ALC. Holy smokes, we got a Louisville Cardinal in the house. Carson, RT, the Boro Dog, the Architect, Renee King Spleen, Gene Calderon, Daniel Gorby, Hockenil, Rob Effen, DW, Eric Miller, the Mad Hatter, 77, Art Thompson, ACC, West Commissioner Gumby, and Dan Nikovsky. You are all hereby knighted, officially knighted, cloak and dagger, because of the incredible generosity of MBM. First of all, when you get an opportunity in the chat room, please say thank you to MBM. Because of his incredible generosity, the new members of our channel can go to our YouTube channel, watch the membership-only episodes, Early Peak, Cloak and Dagger, and from time to time, we drop a little bit of golden nuggets in there, Cloak and Dagger information that we go there first, and then we take it live on the next live show. Thank you, MBM, for your incredible, absolutely incredible generosity. Wow. Kenneth Stromness, Expedition Greg, John Grove. Kansas State needs an offensive coordinator desperately. Well, I've got a few in mind here. I've got a list of a few offensive coordinators that are going to get a pay raise. They're going to go to the higher land. They're going to get a better job. There are some offensive coordinators that are going to be on the market that everyone's going to be going for. Kansas State will probably be one of them. Deadeye is in the house. Thomas is in the house. Roll Tide. Holy cow, I actually have time to check in today. Roll Tide. Okay. UMass fired their head coach today. Okay. Thank you, MBM. I appreciate it so very much. Thank you so much. Okay. We got a lot to get to. First, we're going to go through the schedule for next week. We're not making our selections. If you want to call in and say, Greg, take this team, that team, this team, that team, this team, get yourself out of the hole against the spread. If you want to call me and tell me what's going to happen this week, go ahead. We're going to be doing 2 watch parties. We're going to be doing the Indiana-Ohio State game, 12 Eastern. We're going to be doing Notre Dame and Army at 6:30 Eastern or 7:30 Eastern. 7:30 Eastern. We're going to be doing 2 watch parties next Saturday. It's going to be an extremely busy Saturday. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of drama. There's going to be some tears rolling down your cheeks. There's going to be some celebrations by some of you. Not all of you. By some of you. So we got a busy Saturday. We got a busy week ahead. Monday, we're trying to ease into it. So we're going to go through the games right now. Then we're going to go through quickly. The Big 12 landed I think, a pretty good situation with TNT. And then we're going to talk about the evil Badgers. Luke Fickell. Something happened today. Again, just my opinion, but shared by a few people that I contacted after I read what I read. It ain't good. It's not good in Madison. I believe, PATC believes, that Luke Fickell is losing his grip. I don't know how to say it other than that. I'm not saying he's like losing his job after this year, but he's definitely losing his grip on the situation. And it doesn't even have to, and this is beyond him firing his offensive coordinator. Or did he fire his offensive coordinator? Was it Luke Fickell that fired his offensive coordinator? I don't know. I do not know. First of all, let's get to the games this week. Woo! We've got this week of games is just chock full of drama. We're gonna get through it real quick because we're gonna be spending all week talking about these games. We got MAC matchups on Tuesday. Same with Wednesday. Georgia Tech at North Carolina State. One more look at Georgia Tech, the Rambling Wreck, before they play Georgia in the final week of the season. Thursday night, North Carolina State, Georgia Tech. We got Friday night games. Michigan State, Purdue trying to win a Big Ten game. Saturday, 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock in the morning Central Time. Number 5, Indiana Hoosiers versus the number 2, Ohio State Buckeyes. We're going to be doing a watch party on that, no question about it. Miami, hopefully Miami's defense gets some guys back and they get some life back and they try to figure some things out against Wake Forest. Ole Miss, they're on the bubble. They're on the right side of the bubble. Ole Miss Rebels are on the right side, the correct side of the bubble. Don't blow this. Don't blow this. It just so happens the Gators now have a pulse. Legway has come back from being nicked up earlier in the season. He didn't even run the ball that much in the Gators' victory over LSU. He might have to do it against Ole Miss. Ole Miss at Florida. Rebels, do not screw this up. SMU, do not screw this up at Virginia. Don't screw it up. Illinois at Rutgers. Iowa at Maryland. UConn at Syracuse. North Carolina, BC, Sam Houston, Jacksonville State. UMass, who just fired their head coach, at Georgia. UTEP at Tennessee. Western Kentucky at Liberty. Charleston Southern at Florida State. the Seminoles looking for their second win this season. Yes, I said second win of the season. Florida State goes 13-0 in right now last season, and today they're sitting at 1-9. Bowling Green at Ball State, Rice, UAB, New Mexico State, Middle Tennessee, James, Madison, App State, Arizona, TCU, Florida International, Kennesaw State, UN Monroe, Arkansas State, South Alabama, Southern Miss, Kentucky at Texas. Texas, you should roll, but you only beat Arkansas by 10. Got to get that offense going just a little bit more. And the Nittany Lions at Minnesota. I smell chaos. I smell 3:30 Eastern Time. CBS. BYU at Arizona State. A massive game. BYU looking to cut out that one game. Don't make it in a 2-game losing streak. BYU looking to get to the Big 12 championship game. Arizona State wins this game. They've got the inside track to go to the Big 12 championship game. A huge game. Colorado at Kansas. The last I checked, Colorado was favored by 2. Only 2 against the Jayhawks. The Citadel, Clemson, Northwestern Michigan, Wisconsin at Nebraska. My goodness. Somebody's going to have to win that game, and I got a feeling that night's going to be a good night for the Cornhuskers. I think the Cornhuskers are going to get their 6th win. I think there's heavy drama in Madison. We're going to get to it. Stanford at California, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, UCF, West Virginia, San Diego State, Utah, Georgia Southern, Coastal Carolina, East Carolina, North Texas, Tulsa, South Florida, Pittsburgh, Louisville, Wofford, South Carolina. The Gamecocks are moving on up. Louisiana Tech at Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi State, Troy, Louisiana. And then our second watch party of the evening. Army at Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. Wow. This is going to be fun, guys. This is going to be a fun evening here at PATC next Saturday. Boise State at Wyoming. Don't slip up, Broncos. Washington State did slip up. Now they play at Oregon State. Baylor. And we got more to talk about when it comes to a certain coach on the Cougars, Washington State Cougar staff. We're going to be keeping an eye on during the offensive coordinator carousel. Baylor at Houston. Georgia State at Texas State. Alabama at Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma should not give Roll Tide much of a fight. But, this is Oklahoma's first year in the SEC. I think they would enjoy nothing better than to spoil the season for Alabama, Texas A&M at Auburn, Iowa State at Utah, Marshall, Old Dominion, Vanderbilt, LSU. Oh boy, Brian Kelly. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Cincinnati at Kansas State, Virginia Tech at Duke, USC, UCLA, the rivals. Los Angeles, USC, UCLA, Air Force at Nevada, Colorado State at Florida. Those are the games. There is a bunch of, there's 5 or 6 huge games when you're considering the college football playoff. Ryan Willie watched several Badger podcasts yesterday. I have a good idea what happened. I'm very interested. In fact, Ryan, I might have you call in when the time is right before I go into my monologue on what I believe happen in Madison. Thank you for the super chat, Ryan Willie. Thank you for your continued generosity. Thank you so very, very much. Great. Don't you think Notre Dame will blow Army out? No. No, I do not. No, I do not. Do I think Notre Dame is playing some of the best football in this country? Yes, I do. Do I think Notre Dame is a legit playoff team? Absolutely. I have watched a lot of Notre Dame football, and they are good. They are damn good. But there is more to life than just the Jimmies and the Joe. There is more to life than the rankings. There is what you call the intangibles of life. I will go more into it about 5 minutes before kickoff next Saturday night. But I got a feeling that Army is going to give the Fighting Irish everything they want and more. Yeah. I think it's going to be an epic, classic football game. And I will go into it more this week, but especially on Saturday night. So join us on a Saturday night. Tough Tony, Golden Gopher Tony, Luke Fickell needs a 10-year extension. Go Gopher. Thank you for your super chat, Tony. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Greg the Gold has spoken. What's my record? 53-73 against the spread. 53-73. We've only seen Greg the Gold once all year long. And the one time we saw him, it was weeks ago. Okay. Let's talk about Big 12 football. And then we're going to get into Wisconsin. And then we're going to open up the phone lines for the PATC family to get out your emotions. Let me know what you're feeling. If you're a Jayhawk, let me know. Can you do it again? Can you do it again? Can you beat Colorado? If you're a Buffalo fan, do you fear this game? Do you fear that Kansas is going to do to you what they just did to the BY Cougars in Provo, Utah? This time the game's in Lawrence. If you're a Hoosier fan, you've been waiting for this game for 7 decades. 7 bleeping decades. I cannot even imagine. Your heart is about to explode with pride, with fear, with disrespect that you're getting all over the country. Indiana Hoosiers, give us a call when we got the phone lines open. Anybody, everybody, give us a call here at Peek Around the Corner. First of all, Ross Dellinger's article, the Big 12 football and TNT new deal will feature 13 football games on the WBD channels after settlement. Big 12 on TNT. Get used to it. As part of the settlement struck between the NBA and Warner Brothers Discovery, the Big 12 will see 13 of its football games per year moved from ESPN streaming platform to linear television on WBT channels TNT and TBS. ESPN is also sublicensing 15 Big 12 men's basketball games to be aired on either TNT or TBS. Now that we know that, this is a great deal for the Big 12. And I'll get into it here in a little bit. The sublicensing deal begins next academic year, 2025, and spans 6 seasons. Okay? We don't have to get into the rest of that article. Okay, so why is this such a great deal? Why is this such a great deal for the Big 12? I have Patrick Barris's viewership, ratings. Yes. John Till, Colorado has seen what Kansas did twice, so no letdown. John Till doesn't believe the Colorado Buffaloes will have a letdown against the Kansas Jayhawks, that the Buffaloes will close this Big 12 regular season out this week and next week and go to the Big 12 championship game. Well, we're going to have to find out. Thank you for the super chat, John Till. Appreciate your generosity. I have often said, people have asked me in the 3 years that I've had this YouTube channel, over the last year and a half, who's got the better deal, ACC or the Big 12? Who's got the better deal? Media deal. And I've always answered the question, well, over here in column A, the ACC has a better deal. Over here in column B, the Big 12 has a better deal. And the combination of A and B, take your pick. They're different, but they're equal. Sort of. In column A, the ACC has a much better deal. And I always have the Big 12 fans arguing with me on this, which is fine. The other column, I have the ACC fans arguing with me, which is fine. But in column A, the ACC has the advantage when it comes to the ACC network versus Big 12 Now or ESPN Plus, whatever you want to call it. The third tier product content, it's a much, much better deal for the ACC network, for the ACC schools. They get paid more money for their third tier content than the Big 12. The ACC network, as it grows, if ad money gets higher and all this stuff, the ACC schools will receive more money. And we've already seen that happening. The Big 12 schools don't have that. They don't have a network. Yes, you can find them on ESPN Plus. Yes, the Big 12 schools get a flat fee to help pay for production costs when they put their softball and baseball and whatever games on the network. And if it's a football game, they don't have to pick up that production cost. That's still ESPN. That's still their media partner. But there is no metric. There is no sliding scale. There is nothing that the Big 12 schools can benefit from the Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus in terms of more eyeballs. They don't get the benefit of that. The SEC schools do. The Big 10 schools do. The ACC schools do. When there is growth in their network, more eyeballs, higher ad buys. We've been seeing that at the Big Ten Network. The subscription base in the Big Ten Network before this added expansion was going down in numbers, just like ESPN, ESPN2, all these cable channels. But yet the payouts to the Big Ten teams haven't dropped because of the increased ad money that they're able to charge, because there's more and more eyeballs on the Big Ten Network. Volleyball, football, all these numbers keep going up a little bit every single year. Same with the SEC network. And the ACC network has overperformed. The Big 12 doesn't get that. They don't get the benefit of a rising boat, of a rising tide that lifts all boats. They don't get the benefit of that. And the Big 12 knows this. And boy, is this a great deal. I'll get back to that. The advantage that the Big 12 has over the ACC is that their Tier 1 deal is just better than the ACC. It's more money. It's more money. Their Tier 1 component of their media package is more money for each school than what the ACC schools get. The ACC schools get more in their third tier money. And previous to this year, the ACC enjoyed a little bit better exposure on their Tier 1. Now, the ACC is getting hosed by the SEC dominating ABC now and all that stuff. We know about all that. And the Big 12 has suffered a little bit. So now that we know it's 13 football games, Big 12 games, that was on ESPN Plus, going to TNT, this is a no-brainer. This is an absolute no-brainer for Brett Yormark. He took advantage of the situation. And I hear other people say, well, the ACC, maybe that one. Why didn't the ACC jump? Well, they couldn't. The ACC games are obligated to go on the ACC network. Every SEC team has an obligation to put some content on the SEC network. Same with the Big Ten. And they all flourish because of that. Well, at least this is something that the Big 12, they have gained exposure on a good chunk of their content. Games that would go to ESPN Plus, and they're not all going to be, most of them are going to be West Virginia versus Albany. Right? That was a game this season, non-conference game. A game like that's probably going to be put on TNT. Now, they're going to have a few conference games, no question about it. There's going to be some football games on there that people are going to want to watch, because that's how everyone's going to be scratching each other's backs on this. But so there's going to be some big basketball games on there. There's going to be some non-conference games, the lead going into the season. But overall, this is a better deal for the Big 12. They get more exposure, and in turn, hopefully, get a relationship, all about relationships. Get a relationships built with Warner Brother Discovery. So 5-6 years from now, when you belly up to the table, you got a nice option out here. You've got a very nice option out here. Build that relationship. The Big 12 now on ESPN was a... Now, there's going to be some fans who are going to disagree. Maybe some BYU fans, because they had this deal with ESPN. They had a nice third tier deal. West Virginia fans with Root Sports, whatever. Iowa State with Cyclone TV. But going to the Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, overall, was still a step up for the Big 12 schools and the conference as a whole. But having some of that content now go to TNT is another step up for the Big 12 conference. Even if I don't think they're going to get paid more, but again, you're going to have better viewership and you're going to be able to have an opportunity to build a relationship with WBD, more exposure. Good deal. Very good deal. Very good deal for the Big 12. John Teal, the ACC deal is better. It just looks bad because they have teams that are aspirational to play at the highest level with the Big 10 SEC. For the most part, Big 12 teams are okay just being the best of the rest. John Teal, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I happen to think that pretty much all these schools, all these programs, all these athletic directors are trying to do the best they can. But for every win, there is a loss, and it's very difficult to climb the mountains that are before you. And those mountains have been there for decades. It's hard to climb that mountain. Thank you, John Teal. I appreciate the super chat. Appreciate it so very much. 10 of the 13 games are conference games. Well, that is excellent. Very good. Hold on. Let me clean something up here. That is great news. It is a very, it's a very good deal for the Big 12. Now that we know what is part of it, some of the details, it is a very good deal. It's a no-brainer. Your mark, I tell you what, what's also really good about it, we go back to the relationship part of it. I mean, Brett Yormark has built, and this has been reported over and over and over again, Brett Yormark has built a very good relationship with his media partners. And, you know, ESPN is gaining something with this, right? They're getting inside NBA. They're getting Charles Barkley. They're getting Shaquille O'Neal. So, again, they're helping each other out. And the Big 12 is sitting there and they're taking advantage of another situation. There is the first half of 2025. We're going to be hearing more news about things falling in the lap of Yormark or things that he's worked on and have finally come to a conclusion. Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. John Grove, the move is about exposure. The Big 12 capitalized on the opportunity. Fantastic prediction already with the Mountain West Conference. Should be even better going forward. The basketball component, Vox Quindaro, the basketball component of the Big 12 TNT relationship is huge. Thank you, John Teal, for that generosity once again. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Huge snowstorm headed for Greg. What are you guys talking about? What are you guys talking about? Come on. I am going to make sure I push all the snow away this year. Okay, so we had to hit that subject once again because we had information that that was reported, and it clears everything up. The Big 12 is definitely going to gain. Now, what about this situation at Wisconsin? What about this situation at Wisconsin? Yeah, I saw that Sullivan looks to be out for the season. Earlier today, it was reported that Cade McNamara is going to be basically QB1. So we know that Luke Fickell fired or let go of offensive coordinator Longo, right? This is what was reported by Evan Flood of Wisconsin 247. Evan Flood, how do I say this? Evan Flood is going to he will try to he spins a lot. He spins a lot for his publication. Doesn't like to give bad news to his subscribers. And I understand. I mean, you look out 247 rivals, whatever. You know, if you put out a bunch of bad news, you get people upset, unsubscribe. Now here at Pick Around the Corner, I'm giving bad news all the time. Just the way we operate here at Pick Around the Corner. He put out this. So if Evan Flood put this out here, well, let's just take a look. Luke Fickell was asked who will be calling plays for the Badgers going forward. Luke Fickell answers it. Why does it matter? I don't think it's really important. I guess it gives you the ability to point the finger at someone. What? What? Why does it matter? You're being asked who will be calling the plays. Luke Fickell, who just let go of his offensive coordinator, says, why does it matter? You just let go of your offensive coordinator. I'll get you in a second, Ryan. You know what? Let's do it. Before I get into I put on my psychologist hat, we're going to have the evil Badger, Ryan Willie, give us a call, and he can let us know what he's thinking. 763-260-1333. The line is open, Ryan Willie. Ryan Willie, give us a call. We're gonna hear what you got to say first, and then I am gonna lower the boom. Give us a call, Ryan Willie. 763-260-1333. Ryan Willie.
Call from
Evil Badger.
Evil Badger is on the line. Ryan Willie, let us know what you're thinking here. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. Thanks for taking my call, Greg.
You bet.
So it all started late last week when Alvarez said that he was losing agents with the football program. That kind of put a little bit of
The target.
the cart before the horse, but it kind of gave McIntosh pressure to tell Fickell to get rid of Longo. On Friday night, at the basketball game between Arizona and Wisconsin, they celebrated the back-to-back Final Four years in 14 and 15. And at the Kohl Center, McIntosh was severely booed.
That's the athletic director.
Yes. After the game, some of the people that in the post-game press conference noticed that McIntosh went into the locker room to talk to Fickell. Shortly after that, Longo walked out right past the players that were being interviewed, and I heard this on a couple of podcasts that he had a look on his face that he was not happy.
This is Longo.
Yes.
Friday night basketball.
Well, because Saturday night after the game, McIntosh went into the locker room, had a meeting with Longo and Fickell, and basically told Fickell Longo has to go. Otherwise, I honestly think Fickell was forced to fire Longo. And Fickell is on thin ice, in my opinion, right now.
All right. Ryan Willie, I appreciate the call.
And so that's why Fickell said, why does it matter? He didn't want to fire Longo, but the AD forced him to, basically.
All right. I think you're either on something or onto something, but I think you're onto something. I'm going to answer it what I've heard. I appreciate the phone call, Ryan Willie. You can call us back later in the show, but I do appreciate the call. I think you've set the table quite eloquently. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it, buddy.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Great call. Look, Will J, don't take shots at other personal shots at people in the PATC family. You can take a shot at me, Will J, but don't take a shot at anybody else. I had heard right away. Now, I come from the 247 family, where I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but that's where I got my start. And right away I had heard people saying, we think that this was not Luke Fickell's call to make in getting rid of the offensive coordinator. Okay, you know what? That happens. That happens. It happens a lot. Where the head coach, Will J, this is your last warning. Right away I'd heard that, okay, so I believe that Ryan Willie is correct, because that's what I've heard before even any of this stuff came out. But it's not really all that like earth shattering. Just because you were told that you have to make a move In this case, you have to make a move on the on the offensive side of the ball and whatever. That happens. This is college football at the highest level. But when you are answering a question like this, why does it matter? You're being asked who's calling the play, and your offensive coordinator was just let go, and you're answering, why does it matter? I don't really think it's important. I guess it gives you the ability to point the finger at someone. Wow, that is a man who doesn't want there to be accountability. That's a man who doesn't want there to be accountability. He doesn't want accountability. Now it's like, why does it even matter who's our offensive coordinator? I don't even think it's really important who's our offensive coordinator. I guess you knowing who our offensive coordinator gives you the ability to point the finger at someone. This is a guy who's not happy. And I got a feeling that the leadership is not happy with him. This really so when this came out, to the couple of people who told me right when this happened that Longo was let go, right when it happened, a couple of people said to me, look, it's it wasn't his call. He did not make the call. Those same people that I texted back when I saw this report said, yeah, it's Luke Fickell's pissed. And I think the feeling goes both ways. So this is why we titled the show, Luke Fickell is losing his grip in Madison. An answer like that. Look, we all have bad days. We all have bad days. We all have bad days. Head coaches have a bad press conference. But you link in this to how it all went down, what we believe how it went down, allegedly how it went down. Luke Fickell's basically saying, come on. It wasn't Longo's issue. Who cares who our offensive coordinator is? Those same people who indicated to me about the situation between Luke Fickell, the athletic director, gave me a few names on who the new offensive coordinator. Remember these names for the new offensive coordinator job for Wisconsin. Ben Arbuckle, Washington State's offensive coordinator. Brennan Marion, UNLV. Now, Brennan Marion is going to be a name that you are going to be hearing across the country. People love UNLV's offenses. It's a lot of running, but when they throw, they take a shots downfield. It's like I used to call the Jim Plunkett 1980-1983 Oakland Raiders offense. And it's had huge success at UNLV. Brennan Marion at UNLV, and then also a name that we all got to keep an eye on is the head coach who just got fired at Florida Atlantic is Tom Herman. Tom Herman. So Ben Arbuckle, Brennan Marion, and Tom Herman are the names. Again, Tom Herman has a relationship with Luke Fickell. Back in the days of Ohio State. So Tom Herman, you're going to have to keep an eye on. Anyway, so that is the... there's something bigger going on at Wisconsin than just a letting go of an offensive coordinator. I don't think Luke Fickell took very kindly to the fact that he had to let his offensive coordinator go. Not that any coach is happy to let somebody go. They built a relationship with, but that answer speaks volumes. Give me a call if you think I got it all wrong. Give us a call, 763-260-1333. Now the phone lines are open to everybody. To everybody. Give us a call.
Call from
Immaculate.
Immaculate, the floor is yours.
Well, how you doing today, Greg? Haven't talked to you in a few days.
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. How are you doing, sir?
I'm pretty good. This was some interesting news that popped up. I think it was Saturday night, wasn't it? About the Big 12?
Yeah, Saturday night, and we were doing a watch party, and it broke during our watch party, so we covered as much as we could, but of course we didn't have any details.
Gotcha. Yeah, it kind of shocked me. I think I saw it was on a Bob Thompson tweet, and so the way it came out on a Saturday night just seemed kind of odd. But we talked about this, like how TNT and Big 12 just seemed like a perfect match made in heaven type of situation, and it'd be fun to see if it came out. But I don't think there was any way to ever predict that this would come from an NBA settlement. Like imagine if you're Yormark and you're just sitting there and you get a call and you're like, wait, what? Because I honestly don't think he probably had very much to do with this. Would you say that the Big 12 probably gets the ability to approve it, but I mean, they're not going to get paid from this. I mean, have you seen anything saying that they're going to get any money from this?
No. I don't. I haven't heard any. I haven't heard that. I think it's a great deal for them in midstream and in mid. The contracts. I think it only helps them going forward and possibly juicing up their next contract, but I don't think they're going to get more money. I'm open to be wrong on that though.
Yeah, I don't think they will. They probably had like the right to approve it because it's their content and where it's going to be shown. But with the sublease thing, it's kind of tough because the Big Ten is getting more because of CBS and NBC subleasing from Fox, but that's Fox paying them. Like Fox paying that whole amount, and then they're getting paid by the others. So I don't think the Big 12 will get more money from this. But, man, this has got to be something that you're thinking about 6 years in the future. When that deal comes up and you're looking at how Fox is, relatively focused on the Big Ten. And ESPN has got their hands full at the SEC, and even the ACC is starting to lose out there. You got to be looking at this saying, hey, if as long as the quality is good, the product is good, production is good, and if we start to see TNT start doing some studio shows for college sports of the quality that they do for the NBA shows, and that's huge. If I'm a Big 12 fan, a little bit, But if I'm like a true Big 12 fan, I'm hoping that TNT and this thing works out well for the next 6 years, and you become maybe their main conference that they're the main partner of, and then they're subleasing out to others. So, Fox could buy a few Big 12 games, ESPN could buy a few Big 12 games. Who knows who else? But that's kind of what I'd be pushing for, because right now as it stands, the Big 12 just never really gets much focus. It doesn't get much focus on shows. I mean, you've got certain guy on a game day show saying, "Wait, why are we talking about this game?" And it's just kind of like head scratchers all around. So to me, I mean, we talked about this, and not patting myself on the back, but just to show the folks, look, there's a lot of BS that gets put around and put out at realignment time, and no one knows that better than Greg. But you can kind of razor through a lot of that and see like what makes sense. And as we're starting to see now, the things that make sense are really starting to come through. And I think that this is an amazing opportunity that just kind of sort of seems to have fallen in the lap of the Big 12.
Yeah.
This has everything to do with Warner Brothers and NBA, and kind of less to do with the Big 12, because the NBA, I don't know if people know the whole story, but it seems like in the settlement, Turner has the right to distribute inside the NBA on the international market, but they can't distribute it in U.S. markets. I don't even know how that comes to be, but that just kind of seems like someone stuck the middle finger in the air and said, screw you. And so Warner Brothers and ESPN, now that they're partners, right? I mean, they're partnering up with Fox and ESPN. They've got their little triumvirate. They came together and said, hey, do you like Inside the NBA? ESPN's probably loving it because they're going to make a ton of money off of advertising during that show. And we maybe we should have seen this coming, because, not going to have NBA coverage yet. They had talked a while back about saving that show, keeping that show going. Barkley had talked about it. So maybe we should have realized this is going to play somewhere. We just don't really know where. And here it is. And it just so happens that they wanted it so much that they're trading what they have on hand, which is some Big 12 content. And I think Big 12 fans just lucked out with this. Like this would have made sense and maybe could have came out to be in some other fashion. But I think it just makes it so easy for TNT to do, because they're giving something for it that they're already doing. And so, and it maintains their production value of their studio shows. So if they continue to get to do Inside the NBA, that means they still have their studio going, the production going. Who knows what other shows they can start up? So I think this is pretty awesome for them, and I hope that within a couple of years it becomes pretty clear that this is a kind of a partnership made in heaven, and that kind of helps the Big 12 take another step up.
Yeah, it could. It could. I think it's it's another opportunity for the Big 12. Another opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got some good teams.
Yeah.
If they just get a little bit more visibility, that helps you get a little bit better players, helps you a little bit more money. Who knows? Who knows how much that little bit is that just gets you over the hump to kind of get you to that next step. So that's all I want to say on that is, like, it's great news for them, and it's kind of putting out for folks. Look, don't be surprised if you're hearing some things that get brought up as possibilities in the future if that ends up happening, because there's, some of these things are it's just pure logic. I mean, it's just a match made in heaven. So I'm looking forward to seeing what also starts to happen here in the near future that we'll have to get to talk about.
Dylan Raiola just said that he guarantees that Nebraska is going to go to a bowl game. So that means either a win. Well, I think he actually said, to be more specific, they're going to get a win next week against Wisconsin. But he is guaranteeing that they're going to go to a bowl game. So that means a win against Wisconsin or your beloved Iowa Hawkeyes.
They might beat Iowa right now, man. I'm telling you, like this,
yeah.
it's painful to see. Like we were really excited for Sullivan, and now going back with Cade, and he's how is he going to be after that? Like it's just a little worried.
This is exactly
but
what
he
he
can
says.
Still get a bowl at 5-7.
We'll get the win next week and get us to a bowl. So he's guaranteeing a win against Wisconsin next week. Interesting.
I'm not so sure. I mean, they didn't look that bad against Oregon. Like they played pretty tough, and but let's also keep in mind some teams go to bowls at 5 and 7, and those tend to be ones where it's like, well, we got some extra slots to fill, and then they just look at any 5 and 7 school that they want to come, that's going to have a large following, that's going to come and watch the game. I pretty much think even if they don't win another game, Nebraska is going to a bowl at 5 and 7.
Yeah.
But we shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah. Alrighty, man. Anything else, Mr. Hawkeye?
No, I don't want to talk about the Hawks, man. It's just too. This season.
Yeah.
This season, it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll see. Hey, I almost had a chance to go to this BYU ASU game here in Tempe, and I gotta tell you, man, I think that's going to be one hell of a game. So.
Yeah.
Are you doing a watch party for that?
No. We're doing the Ohio State Indiana game at 12 Eastern and Notre Dame Army. So.
Yep. Okay. Those are both good ones to watch.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good, buddy.
You got it, buddy.
Always good talking to you.
Yeah. Great call, immaculate, Mr. Hot Guy. I'm just going to say this one more time. And I want everybody to take it in the spirit that it is given.
Call from
Steve.
Steve, can you hold, Mr. Bearcat, can you hold on 1 second?
Sure.
I appreciate it. I'm going to say this one time. You guys can give each other shots because, rivalry. My team's better than yours. Your team's going to choke. You can say all this stuff. But please don't give each other personal shots in the chat room. Especially, do not give people shots on how they sound like on the phone. We've got people calling on all over the country. We've got people calling in from all different ages. We've got people calling in who have speech impediments. We have people calling in who are disabled. They're all welcome here at College Football's Peek Around the Corner. I don't give a bleep. I don't care. I don't give a bleep if you played for some team in the 80s or the 90s, or if you're part of some administration. This show is not for you anyways. This is College Football's Peek Around the Corner. I am a nobody. We are filled with nobodies. People who love college football. If you give a shot to somebody on how they sound like, they're doing the best they can on the phone, giving their feelings, emotion, their knowledge, if college football, sharing their love of college football. If you give a shot to them, you're gone. You will not be seen again on this show. Period. End of story. Your host, Greg Pflugar, I don't talk good at all. I'm a terrible talker. You guys know, most of you know the story. I was deaf when I was young. It's why I got a loud voice. It's why I cannot pronounce my R's. I can barely even do this show. We are not going to give shots at people on how they sound like. We're only going to encourage them. Period. End of story. This YouTube channel is not for everybody. It's maybe not for anybody. We may have to shut this down after I piss everybody off with my incredibly bad record picking against the spread. But we're definitely not going to take shots at people how they sound. Period. Got it? Got it. Mr. Bearcat Steve, the Bearcats are 5-5. They need one win. One win to get to a bowl game. Let's go. Let's go. The floor is yours.
Well, Greg, I like the enthusiasm, but I don't know it's going to happen.
Okay. All right.
Well, I just, I don't know. As far as 5 and 7 teams gone to bowls, it's just not randomly picked. There's metrics that go into it to go to a bowl. Northwestern's number one. If they would finish 5 and 7 this year, they're the first team that would have a chance to go to a bowl.
Who was that?
Believe it or Northwestern would be the first team this year with all the metrics involved, just like the metrics with Minnesota last year.
Okay. Got it.
Northwestern's the first one to go to the bowl at 5 and 7. If there's not enough 6 and 6 teams, Cincinnati is the second 5 and 7 team that would have a chance to get a bowl bid. Okay.
Got it.
That I did that research today. When you're old, retired, and don't have a life, Greg, you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You research stuff like that.
Yes.
As far as the TNT and the Big 12 thing, I don't know how I'm going to put this, Greg, I don't know. I was told a year and a half ago, and I brought it up to you back then, that WBD was going to try to jump into college football, and they got the Mountain West, a couple games a weekend or whatever. And then I was told, I'm not saying this right, Craig. Then I was given some information that certain people from the Big 12 in the last 6 to 8 months were in Atlanta. And I'll just leave it at that. Okay?
Got it.
All right. I'll just leave it at that. Lastly, if anyone has any doubts about Luke Fickell and his loyalty to his assistants, one must research the living arrangements when Marcus Freeman was Luke Fickell's defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. There were some loyalties there for a lot of reasons that went real deep. I'm not going to speak on it. I'll let everybody do their own research and come to their own opinions. But sometimes, and Luke Fickell might be guilty of this, other coaches might be guilty of this, they're too loyal to their assistants. And there's reasons why. I mean, there's obviously reasons why. This is a guy they thought was going to do a good job for them.
Yeah.
There's something going on in the background in Wisconsin. I'm not one to be able to speculate on that. I think people can draw their own conclusions. But I think part of Luke Fickell's answer today is just his loyalty to his assistants. And it goes way back and it goes way deep.
Yeah. Great call, man. I think you're correct. And most of these head coaches have that loyalty.
Yeah.
He did not handle that question very good, though.
No, he could have handled it better.
Yeah.
He could have handled it better. I think he's frustrated. There were very few times, but there were a few at press conferences that I remember watching when he was at Cincinnati that he was pretty short and pretty terse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the guy doesn't like to lose. He got beat 3 times in high school in wrestling in the state he was a state champion a few times, and he can name you the 3 guys that beat him in high school in wrestling. That's how badly the guy hates to lose. I'm not sticking up for him. I'm not saying what he said was right today, but check on his relationship with Freeman. And then when Freeman had the chance to go to Notre Dame and be Kelly's defensive coordinator, Fickell said, "You get out this door and you get to South Bend right now." So,
wow,
that's the Luke Fickell I know.
Yeah.
You know, Luke Fickell was telling him, "Hey, this is a great opportunity for you. You know, get out the door, get up there, take that job, and do as good a job as you did for Cincinnati." So that's the Luke Fickell I know.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Greg, I'll let everything go. I just wanted to give my 2 cents worth.
You got it.
The TNT thing's been something ongoing. The TNT TBS thing's been something ongoing in the last few months with the Big 12. I'll just let that also. All right?
Got it. Appreciate it, sir.
All right. Take care.
I think we lost a phone call halfway through that. Give a call again, whoever that was. I think we lost a phone call. I was not able to get to it. Great call, Bearcat Steve. Appreciate it. Oh, let's see here.
Call from
Rock and Rant.
Rock and Rant, can you just hold on one moment, please?
Sure can.
I appreciate it. Just gotta fix something here. Give me a moment. And I've gotten a little bit behind too. Hold on, Rock and Rant. Hold on. This is not an anti-Cam Ward moment here. Hold on. Okay, first of all, Jose, thanks again, Gopher Godfather, for the commute hours show, almost home, fight on, USC. Jose, a member for 12 months. Oh my goodness. 12 months you've had to listen to this voice talk about college football. Thank you so very much for your generosity, for your friendship, for all your great donations and your calls, Jose. I appreciate it very much. You are hereby knighted, cloak and dagger. Once again, Rock and Rant, Miami Hurricane. There's a lot of excitement, pressure on Rock and Rant. You're going to have to excuse him in how he acts during this week. Who does Miami? I know Miami plays Syracuse the last.
Not yet. There'll never be a year that I stress out about Wake Forest week, even if Miami's 4-7 heading into it. I'm sorry, just that's not possible. No offense to if it was basketball, maybe.
Got it. Okay. Syracuse game though.
Syracuse is Syracuse game could be an interesting one. We'll see, but I'm not going to read much into whatever we do or don't see from the defense against Wake Forest for the same reason. Like it's going to be, if they perform great, it's still can't put any weight into it, right? Like ultimately, we'll see how they look against against Syracuse. And I'm not really expecting much different when you're 10 games into the season. You kind of are who you are. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll be happy to be wrong, but I'm not really expecting it. I'm hoping the offense is just firing on all cylinders. But in terms of, the real quick things I want to just touch on, and one of them is ACC indirectly related. The Big 12 deal with Turner is, even though they're not getting a dime more, it's awesome for them just from the time slots alone, because they've been definitely getting, if not second fiddle, maybe really third fiddle from ESPN in terms of the time slots. So if they get some visibility there, I think that's worth it. And it's also like they're getting to live in somebody else's Airbnb for a few years before deciding if they want to move in permanently, right? They get to build that relationship up. But the thing I wanted to bring up is like a random question of, forgetting about the financial merits of the deal. If you're ACC and you see that, you've also been getting a predominant amount of the lesser slots on ABC and ESPN, and you're a full partner of ABC, ABC ESPN, right, with the AC network, and your whole deal is in-house, and you're getting these less slots, and now you see somebody that's only like a half relationship get another deal that's potentially going to get them more exposure. If you had a competent commissioner, what would your reaction be to that?
What would be my reaction if I was Jim Phillips?
Yeah, like if you're Jim Phillips and you're seeing just like the Big 12, the ACC has not been getting as great as slots, right? It's all SEC all the time on both networks, with a few exceptions here or there. But for the most part, they're getting the best slots. You're 100% in business with ABC ESPN. A partner of theirs that has a shared deal with Fox now is getting some of their games sub-licensed to a network that will probably have the opportunity to put them on better time slots with as much distribution. The Turner networks have as many households, if not more in some cases, than ESPN does. Certainly ESPN2 and definitely the ACC network, ESPNU, etc. You just have to wonder are they just going to completely be asleep at the wheel, or are they actually, Big 12 is going to get some more exposure and better slots than the ACC is as a result. I think it's a great deal for them.
We know they've had, they've had discussions over the last few months, right? Phillips and ESPN.
Right.
Maybe we'll wake up one of these days and there'll be a big news saying that ACC games will also be on TNT. They'll have 13, 15 games on TNT. If that was announced, how would your reaction be?
I think you just want the best slots to have to get the most eyeballs, right? There's the money itself, and then there's the brand awareness and the money that comes as a result of that. And if you are getting more top games at 3:30 Eastern and 7:30 on networks with a lot of exposure and less stuff added to non-Nielsen rated channels, or just getting the noon slot all the time, that's better for your brand overall. It's not like you're talking about, getting on to some lesser network that doesn't have as many households. Like TNT, TBS, even True TV have as many households as ESPN. They're almost required basic cable packages all across the board. So I think there's a lot of value there. So I am curious to see what happens with the ACC as we get to all of the things we were talking about all off season, what really winds up happening, and is there anything else? And if not, what the hell is Jim Phillips continuing to do? Because I think what pulled off for the Big 12, whether Yormark was directly involved or just a beneficiary of some wild circumstances, ultimately, the brand value of better time slots on a big network treated correctly has a lot of dollars that follow, even if they don't come in advance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the other thing I just wanted to point out, question is, where is Petiti, where is Yormark, and where is Milk Carton Phillips out there advocating for their leagues right now the way that the SEC, Echo Chamber, and Sankey are?
Yeah.
What are they waiting for? Even if you want to go down the road of the SEC deserves more than four, let's say that they even do, the commissioner's jobs are to be advocating for their conferences and their teams ahead of time. Phillips in particular should be embarrassed that Rhett Lashley is the best commissioner the ACC has ever had in terms of advocating for their conference just off of one press conference. after last year, you would think he would have learned after not supporting Florida State. But all three of them, like, what are they all waiting for to advocate, even just from an optics perspective, for their schools, regardless if it really makes an impact or not, regardless of the merit? They're supposed to be out there as the biggest champions for their conferences, and all three are sitting there on the sidelines while everyone from Sankey on down to Paul Feinbaum is acting like the world will end if like 5 or 6 SEC teams don't get it.
Well, first of all, Rock and Rant could get in his car right now and pick up Bearcat Steve, pick up Mountaineer Jeff Morgan, drive to Rosemont, Illinois, take out a blowtorch, and put the corporate office of the Big Ten on fire, have it burned down to the ground, and we still wouldn't hear a word from Tony Petitti. Okay? I mean, that guy, I hope he's a great leader. I hope he's a great leader behind closed doors, because out in the open, my goodness, he is silent Tony. Now, and I'm not, and again, Jim Phillips is old school. He's so much of a gentleman. The one, he's not going to do what he should be doing. The one that I'm questioning is Brett Yormark. Why hasn't he gone out there and said, hey, you know, for sure our Big 12 champion should get the fourth, you know, one of the top 4 seeds? He should be saying something at this point. I do agree on that. Yeah. I don't think the other two even have the ability to do it, to be honest.
But you could, yeah, like regardless of whether it's rightfully or wrongfully earned, right? Those conferences are supposed to advocate for each other. They're supposed to make noise, and if you've got to be Jim Phillips and you're milk toasty boring, you could say it in the nicest, politest, most ineffective way, but at least your conference would know that you had a pulse, right? Like, I don't even know if people noticed, and I don't expect him to win it, but Cam Ward, who leads in touchdown passes, yards, everything else, suddenly dropped from all the Heisman graphics this weekend on ESPN and ABC. Not like, hey, he's not the favorite, because I think our guy in Colorado is definitely the favorite after his performance this weekend, but not even in the top 5, and they're listing quarterbacks that have more interceptions, way less touchdowns, way less yards, way less percentages, other than maybe and it just goes to show like how that network, you know, how they spin things. So when you even get to that point, all three of those commissioners are, in my mind, after watching last year, negligent in their advocacy for their conferences, even if at the end of the day it wouldn't make a difference. But I'm done with my rant on that.
But Rock and Rant, I know, can I take you off of college football for a moment?
Sure.
I know you're a man who keeps track of everything that goes on in the world and stuff. There is a report out there. Have you heard about the submarine communications cable between...
Oh, the one from Finland to EU?
To Germany. Germany has been cut.
I did.
Okay, so it is the first direct communications cable between Finland and Central Europe. It is unclear whether the damage is the result of sabotage. Well, now there's a reports of a malfunction at Finland's, and I'm going to butcher this, so I apologize, at Finland's Lavisa, I don't know how to say it, I'm butchering it, at Finland's Lavisa nuclear power plant. The nuclear plant is Soviet designed. Reactor number 2 has been shut down. Only reactor 1 is in operation right now. And they don't know if that was by sabotage. So.
That's wild.
Good luck, everybody. Good luck.
Yeah. People should be concerned about rooting for people based off of false premises, right? And hopefully everything goes fine there with whatever. You don't ever want anybody's nuclear plants to have any potential problems, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully that comes to pass. But
Yeah.
it's never boring, Greg.
Never
College
boring.
football or the world as a whole.
Yeah. All right, man. You're the greatest, no matter what Moen says about you.
Be good, Greg.
I appreciate it.
Bye.
Great call by Mr. Hurricane. He says he's not worried about this. He's not worried about Wake Forest. He's not worried about Wake Forest. Maybe the Orange.
Call from
BJ.
BJ, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling.
What's up, Greg? And as always, thanks for letting me speak on your platform. Today I'm in a good mood. So do we want a positive spin or a negative spin? When it comes to ESPN, they can be the good guy or the bad guy, depending on if you're SEC or non-SEC, in my opinion. I did notice, I did an exercise this past weekend, and I looked at how much airtime was given to SEC, the SEC period. And it was all over the weekend. And I think it has to be a concerted effort when I look at multiple different college football programming, and they utter the same nonsense, right? They utter the same nonsense. They critique everyone else, but any SEC team cannot be critiqued. They're even on their online profile, on their YouTube channel, same thing. They just don't tell the truth. As it pertains to the ACC and everybody else, the Big 12, I'm glad that there's something there, because if they're on ESPN, they're going to be shuffled to the back behind, the third SEC game, in my opinion. But I want to know more about this agreement with TNT in terms of, I think you mentioned time slots. Is it going to be produced by TNT? Like, is it like going to be a completely TNT product, or how is it going to work out with the Big 12 games?
I believe it's going to be still a production of ESPN. I believe,
okay.
And I believe inside the NBA, going to ESPN is going to be still going to be a production of TNT.
TNT. Okay.
I think they're just do-si-doing. They're going to be on each other's platforms, but I still think it's going to be a production of each. I might have that wrong, but I don't think I do. I think I read that. If someone wants to correct me in the chat, go ahead. But I think that's how it's playing out.
Okay, because I knew that TNT inside the NBA was going to be produced by TNT, but shown on ESPN. But my question is this, Greg. Like, would there be cross promotion? Because a game is only a game if it's being promoted, right? You would hope that ESPN would do some kind of cross promotion if it's being produced by ESPN. Otherwise, things would get kind of lost in the shuffle in terms of promoting game of the week or whatever game is going to be on TNT.
It's a good question.
But hopefully it works out. And, when I look at the past couple of new products that came on the market for college football, it's kind of gotten mixed reviews. I think the CW, they're getting the hundreds of thousands of views. I think they topped out around 600,000. I think it was last year, Florida State had like 600,000 or 700,000 views. And I haven't watched the NBC Big Ten product as much, to be honest with you. Maybe you can kind of help me get a grasp on whether the production value is there and whether.
Yeah, I said yesterday I have not. It's yesterday. In my opinion, it's not at the same level as Fox, CBS, ESPN. Now maybe they'll get there, but it's not there this year.
Okay. Will it be
in my very strongly held opinion?
Okay. And my last question is, will it, like I'm envisioning this new TNT deal with the Big 12 sub-license agreement would be similar to what the ACC and Raycom did with ESPN, where ESPN sub-licensed to Raycom, and ACC was on Raycom for, 10, 12 years or so. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming it's going to be similar to that. And the Raycom product, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad. It felt like a tier 2 type of production, like regional. But the video quality was pretty nice. Just the on-air talent was just horrible. Yeah. But anyway, thanks for letting me speak on your platform. You have a blessed day.
Thank you, BJ. Appreciate it. Again, if you're new to the channel or if you haven't done it yet, please hit the subscribe button, smash the like button if you like our content, share the video with your family and your friends. If you want to donate to this college football rebel outpost, hit the $sign where you make a comment, and I'll get you super chat as quick as I possibly can. I want to thank you all for joining us. This is a post from Dennis Dodd. You just posted it. We already live in a world where the likes of SMU and Boise could be getting a first round college football playoff buys by winning their conference, while Alabama and Georgia could be playing in the first round. For entertainment's sake, the possibility of Arizona State even mattering has been captivating. When every team in the old Pac-12 had 2 losses, it was a disgrace. When every team but one of the Big 12 has 2 losses, it's a Jackson Pollock acid trip. But when the 14 of the 16 teams in the SEC all have 2 losses, it's competitive. Rant over. Now back to the season. Interesting post by Dennis Dodd. Some would say it's a brilliant post. Some would say it doesn't quite live up to the dramatic phrasing of the fat guy from Minnesota. But I just wanted to read it out loud. Just wanted to read it out loud. The phone line is open. 763-260-1333. Thank you, Stormy Cyclone, for those kind words.
All from
Evil Badger.
The Evil Badger, Ryan Willie, is on the line. The floor is yours, my friend.
Hi, Greg. The thing I would like to discuss is the fact that next year's schedule is even tougher than this year for the Badgers. Because they go to Bama, they go to Michigan, they go to Oregon, they go to Indiana, and to Minnesota.
Yeah. I hear you, brother. I did know that. Wisconsin's schedule next year is more brutal. Nebraska's schedule next year is more brutal. Minnesota has to go to Oregon, Ohio State, Iowa. I get it. It's not easy being us.
And with the attitude Fickell has, I think they should let him go now.
Okay. Well,
and
you know what, Ryan Willie? I about a week ago I would have said no chance, no shot Luke Fickell leaves after this year. But I'm going to give it a 5% chance now. I'm going to raise it from 0 to 5% chance because there's definitely going on something in Madison, but only a 5% chance.
And I think the upper administration put the pressure on McIntosh to put pressure on Fickell. So, well, that's all I got.
You got it, buddy. Well, you know what?
All right. What?
we're going to worry about next year after this season is over, okay? Once the national championship game is played, you, myself, and a whole lot of other people, part of the PATC family, we're going to start going into panic mode because we're going to lose guys in the portal. We're going to struggle to get guys in the portal. We're going to go in flat out, big time, dramatic panic mode. But let's wait for those dark, dark, dark days in January, February, March, April. We'll wait until it gets here. Right now, let's just enjoy the season. How about them apples?
I don't really want to think about the cold temperatures, though.
Yeah. All righty, sir.
All right.
Appreciate the
All right.
phone
Thank
call.
you.
You got it.
All right. Bye.
Great call by the Evil Badger, Ryan Willie. Tony says Fickell needs more time, a lot more time. He wants Fickell to stay. The architect, Whiskey's making a big mistake. Luke can coach ball. Get out of the way, administration. Get out of the way. Michael Smith, forget 2 losses. The Pac-12 never got serious consideration for any 1-loss team. Taytown Hawk, I'm not worried about Leipold if Fickell leaves this year. The AD making in-season demands that does not mesh with his alignment mantra. Good point. Good point. I'm not going to do big red propaganda. Why would I do big red propaganda? Why would I do that? Boy, that is you got 2 5-5 teams, Wisconsin and Nebraska. It's going to be Dana Holgerson's second game as the offensive coordinator for Nebraska. Wisconsin has a new offensive coordinator who's never called plays, already on staff. I forget his name. Starts with an L. Some guy, don't know. Nebraska needs to get to 6 wins. They need to get to a bowl game for the first time in 8 years. Wisconsin, Luke Fickell, and all that drama. You got 2 5-5 teams, and yet the drama behind and around that game, holy smokes. Holy smokes. If not discussed, yes, UMass fired head coach Don Brown. I think that was the 7th G5 coach fired. But then quickly after that, we got Tom Herman, the coach of Florida Atlantic, who was also fired. So we got 7 or 8, something like that, G5 head coaches that have been fired. We have yet to see a power conference coach get fired. Anyways, we're going to wrap it up. We've been on the air for about an hour and 53 minutes. We appreciate you all joining us on this Monday afternoon. Buckle up, brace for impact. Tomorrow, I think it's going to be another big day in college football. We might be making our picks against the spread tomorrow. Greg the Gold is going to make an appearance. I can't even guarantee it. I can't even lie to you guys anymore. I cannot even drum up false, fake, positive feelings because I have absolutely none. Absolutely none when making our selections. Greg, stay on the Jayhawk heater. Guarantee it, Greg the Gold. Great show. Thank you, guys. Stephen Clark, thank you. Thank you, Connecticut fan. Thank you, Steel Austin. I appreciate it. Until next time, from all of us at Peek Around the Corner College Football's Peek Around the Corner, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.